This migrating herd of wild Asian elephants is lying flat and sleeping in Kunming, China. Chinese experts say that this is very rare. Usually, baby elephants lie down to sleep. Adult elephants sleep standing up. They don't usually lie down to sleep. Even if they do, it won't be for long, for perhaps a few minutes or little more than 10 minutes. If it is too long, lying down could compress the heart and make breathing difficult and may even cause death when lying down for too long. Baby elephants lie down to sleep soon after birth, but as they grow, the time spent lying down to sleep gradually decreases. Maybe they are too tired. The 15 wild Asian elephants left China's Xi-shuang-banna National Nature Reserve in March 2020, heading north, and have been wandering for almost a year and 4 months now, with no one knowing when they will stop. As time passes, their hope of returning home is becoming slimmer. Initially, there were 17 elephants. On December 17, 2020, the herd entered Mojiang County and gave birth to a baby elephant on the way. 2 elephants went further, then returned to Mojiang County, while the remaining 15 continued their journey, including 6 adult females, 3 males, 3 juveniles, and 3 baby elephants. They crossed almost half of Yunnan province, entering Wuxi City in April. Then, on June 2, Kunming City, the capital city of Yunnan, covering nearly 500 kilometers. They like to go to places frequented by humans because there is a lot of food for Asian elephants in these areas. The Asian elephants regard these areas as their habitat. This appears to be the explanation by the director of the reserve to the public via national television. In other media interviews, the director expressed a lot of confusion and concerns. It is normal for elephant herds to move in search of food temporarily. The period between May and June is the junction of dry and rainy seasons in Yunnan province when food is scarce. The further north the herd is, the less food there is and the closer it is to human settlements. Usually, the routines of Asian elephants are the opposite of humans. When humans are active, elephants will not come out. So, in the past, people seldom met elephants. In addition to the food source, Asian elephants' habitat cannot be too small and must not be on a steep slope. The elephant's favorite slope is less than 10 degrees. Over 30 degrees, it is more difficult for them to walk. Asian elephants generally live at an altitude of fewer than 1,000 meters, and it is rare to see them over 1,300 meters. But this group of wandering elephants is now in a location over 2,000 meters elevation, and sometimes has to walk in steep mountain areas. Due to the rising altitude, food in the mountains and forests is less available, making it worse for them to survive. Some people think that the elephants are accidentally lost and cannot find their way home. The institute director told Xinhua News Agency, China's official broadcaster, elephants are very intelligent, with an IQ equivalent to that of a 5 or 6-year-old child. They also have an excellent memory. Someone commented that the elephant herd is lost. We don't agree. The herd doesn't know the way ahead, but it must know the way back. Why did this herd of elephants wander out of the sanctuary? It remains a mystery, but food scarcity in reserve has been a problem for years. Elephants eat grass, not wild fruits. The Xi-shuang-banna National Nature Reserve covers 3.6 million acres and is owned by the state. The forests in reserve are getting denser. As the trees get bigger and more prolific, there is less vegetation under the trees. There are some villages spread out in the reserve. Since 1983, the hills and land have been divided for local villagers to use, not under the reserve's jurisdiction. Residents have the right to decide on the use of the land. According to the local forestry bureau, the low-altitude areas, which used to produce food, are now mainly developed into rubber plantations and some tea and coffee plantations. The latter is an important economic source for local farmers. If a rubber plantation is not finely treated, the grass that Asian elephants love to eat will grow among the trees. There is already a situation where wild elephants run into the field in the local area, searching for grass to eat. It has brought distress to the farmers. Director Guo said that odds are high for the elephants to eat in the farmers' fields. The government has given minimal compensation to local farmers for direct damage, about a third or a quarter of the market price. Indirect losses are not compensated at all. For example, if elephants enter the rubber plantation during the rubber cutting season and stay for half a month, no one dares to go in and cut the rubber. During the very short period of precious tea picking in spring, farmers cannot pick tea when elephants run into the tea plantation. Once the season is over, the price of tea drops a lot. These indirect losses may be higher than the direct losses at times. Since 2008, there have been cases of elephant herds wandering out of protected areas in China, but in most cases, the herds travel a small distance, no more than 50 kilometers at most. This migration stretches 500 kilometers so far, and is the first of its kind in known history. An expert who has been tracking Asian elephants for many years pointed out that after years of observation, they found that the uncontrolled migration of wild elephants can bring great harm to both humans and elephants. Returning to their habitat is the best option. According to the Xi-shuang-banna Forestry and Grassland Bureau statistics, from 2011 to 2019, there were more than 4,600 incidents of wild Asian elephants in the state, with more than 50 casualties and 120,000 acres of damaged crops.
昨天晚上9点多就到我们山上，村长叫我们提高警惕，不要出门。
一天没上课啊，一天老进门的，我害怕嘛，别敢开灯下。
The herd of stray elephants was first noticed in mid-April. Since then, there have been more than 400 incidents in 40 days, directly damaging 842 acres of crops, with a preliminary estimate of direct economic loss close to 6.8 million. Director Guo said, "Asian elephants hate dogs in particular. When they see dogs, they trample them to death. Previously, several cases of elephants killing people were because dogs ran to their owners. Asian elephants will also attack humans when frightened." But China hasn't reported any casualties so far. Most of the damage caused by the herd has been trampling farmland, destroying buildings, and stealing food from people. On the night of May 27, 6 elephants from the herd broke into a car dealership, drank all the water from a bucket, and then went next door to a home and trampled the residents' vegetable patch. The Chinese people have been generally friendly to the herd. One woman said in an interview, "It's the first time the elephants have been here, so it's no big deal if they eat and drink a little." Is it possible to put the elephants under anesthesia and return them to the reserve? Experts worry that with the number of young elephants in the herd, anesthesia could easily anger other adult elephants and cause the herd to get out of control. The family concept of elephants is very strong. The baby elephants are under strict protection since birth. Aside from their mothers, other adult elephants will also come to protect them. It sleeps under the belly of its mother and father, and other adult elephants will sleep around it, including when the baby elephant is walking on the road or crossing the river. In case of a dangerous situation, all the elephants will surround the baby elephant at once. Some areas have tried a blockade to force the elephants to change their path, but have failed. The Chinese government and media began broadcasting the migrating herd of elephants to the world in late May. Chinese media said that the number of wild elephants in China's Hunan province has increased from 193 in the 1980s to about 300 as a result of increased protection. The media praised government departments for organizing tracking teams to feed the elephants and using drones to keep a close eye on their movements. China's Phoenix.com wrote, "The elephants have replaced the giant pandas, and in tracking them, they have shown the world the magnitude of China's cities, its beautiful environment, and its ability to track herds of elephants with high-tech equipment." The reality is, the elephants have been wandering for more than a year in various harsh conditions, including wind, rain, lightning, floods, and hail, before the romantic images of the elephant's journey were presented to the world. Director Guo believes that with hundreds of people following them and 24-hour drone surveillance, the elephant herd may be in a manic mood and perhaps not enough time to sleep, and even if they do, they cannot sleep well. If this goes on for a long time, they may be so manic that they could collapse. He called for the elephant herd to be left alone to rest in the forest. So far, the herd doesn't seem to have any intention of stopping, but where exactly are these elephants heading? No one knows. Many experts believe that there have been signs of wandering away when the 17 wild elephants left the Xi-shuang-banna National Nature Reserve in March 2020. Had actions been taken at that time, it would have been much easier to bring back the herd to the reserve than it is now.